What's up, everybody? Thank you for clicking on this video. We have a full A320 flight. I actually forgot to turn on my camera for this video, so sorry we have no face cam, but that's fine. You can still hear my voice and see the entire flight. Enjoy it, and let's get right into it as I'm setting up the flight plan.
So, we're just gonna try to make it on our own here and see if we could get something that makes sense. So, we do have some departures here from this airport. So we're gonna just kind of test each of them out and see which one makes sense. I know I want to head somewhere to the west, so they have me going east here. That one has me going south. That one also going south. That one's going east. If anything, we're gonna have to go south, but looks like they only have west and southern departures, so we'll take the southern one and just go from there. So we'll choose that, press change procedure, and we are going to switch to IFR flight plan. So I think that's set here. We're heading west, so I'm going to set a flight level here. Do something like 340. Let's go see if we have an arrival to choose. Change. Okay, so we are going to take an ILS runway 27 here via Evra. Yeah, that one just puts us a little longer, so that's fine. Press change procedure and also choose an arrival. Looks like they don't have any arrivals, so it's just going to be a direct one. That's fine. And we are going to find route, of course. And it looks like they made a pretty simple flight plan for us. A couple of waypoints, looks good to me. Now, flight level, yeah, altitude is too low. I mean, I'm trying. Flight level 320. Alright, cool, that worked. And we're gonna press send to ATC and avionics here. Cool, so that's sent. So as you can see, that is in our FMC here. Still gonna go see if everything is set up as we want it to. Go to the init page. Alright, cool. Cruising temperature, cost index, that's all fine. Flight plan, alright. Just gonna make sure we don't have any discontinuities that we don't know of. That looks fine, so flight plan is good. And let's go to the performance page here. Alright, so we're going to use this little guy and go to takeoff. I think we can just sync the airport, so it sets all the information here on its own. Press calculate, see if that works. There we go, cool. So we have our rotate speed here, 126. We'll press send to FMGS, and there we go. Oh, that was 125. We do have to set it by hand, unfortunately. 125. 125 again. And then 128 on V2. 128. Alright, did they give us a trim setting? They should. Trim 1.9 up, so you go ahead and set that. Also 1.9 up. Ah, shoot, had to put a slash in front of it, I think. 1.9 up. Oh, there we go. And then flaps. I don't even know what I have to set for flaps. I just do that one. Oh, cool. And temp, just put usually something about 50. General, does it give me anything here? I think it does actually. 58. Okay, 58. There we go. So we will set 58 also. Right there. Engine out. Okay. Confirm data. Cool. Takeoff data uplink. So I think that means that we're good. So we do have quite a small airport here that we're flying out of in Sweden. Yeah, we have a small taxiway. It's going to be a nice little flight here, Sweden to Denmark. Pretty sure it's Denmark and not Norway. Alright, so, see if we can request some kind of clearance here. Tower, yeah, we can request an IFR clearance. Let's go ahead and do that. Jonkoping. There you go, you guys have our airports that we're going to. Jonkoping to Billund. Alright, so, telling us to climb via the SID 3,000 feet, expect 320 10 minutes after departure, and set the squawk there. So we'll acknowledge that, and then we'll go over the clearance again.
Cleared to Billund by the Deviant Tree Hotel departure, runway 01. Climb via SID maintain 3,000.
Alright, so they told us that we're cleared to Billund via our departure, runway 01, so go ahead and set runway heading when you get that. So runway 01 means that we are heading to about 10 degrees after departure. So there we go. That's going to be about our runway heading. Speed, I'll set a speed for after takeoff. I like to maintain somewhere around 200. We don't have any speed restrictions. But we do have to go look at our charts here. Hopefully we do have some charts. There they are. So our SID here. Let's go look at our SID. They told us to climb and maintain 3,000. We are on the Devon 3 Hotel departure. So let's go ahead and find that Devon 3 Hotel. It should be one of these ones. Devon 3 Juliet, Devon 3 Hotel. So it's that one right there. So we're going to be taking off from runway 1. Whoa, where's the airport? There it is. Alright. Okay, so we do have a speed restriction, 230 knots, but we're going to be respecting that. At or above 1,500. At or above 2,500. Max 230 knots. And then going to Devny. So anyway, they told us to maintain 3,000 after departure, so we're gonna do that. We'll be maintaining 3,000. I'm gonna set my vertical speed. I have to activate it. So selected vertical speed. I like using my vertical speed after takeoff instead of VNAV, at least for a little bit. And selected speed. Also gonna set that. And we know that we have to be below 230 knots after takeoff, so we'll head something like 215. And do we even need to request a pushback? I think I'm just going to avoid that, guys. I don't feel like doing an extra pushback. We can just taxi and turn, so I'm just going to request taxi right now and open up the taxi chart while we get our clearance.
Swag Lima Tango Lima 9er, ready to taxi, IFR.
It looks like a pretty simple taxi. Hold short of runway 1 by taxiway Alpha. Alright. So, as you guys can see, it's pretty simple clearance. We go to runway 01 via taxiway Alpha. So, yeah, right there. So then we're going to have taxiway Alpha, runway 01. So I don't even think we need the whole length of the runway. This is in meters, so we have 2,000 meters, which is something like 6,000 feet or so. Now it's time to taxi. We had a pretty simple taxi by taxiway Alpha 01. One thing you do need to do in this plane, if I remember correctly, is go to here and set this auto tiller disconnect rudder control tiller. I think it's already on yes. I think that's what you has to be on. We'll figure it out. Parking brake off and pushing the engines up a little to turn and setting flaps 1. So take off flaps. Alright, so we have taxiway Alpha right beside us there. Perfect. go ahead and head to taxiway Alpha. Alright, so what's our flex? Looks like something like 75 on that departure, because we're quite light today. It's only a 200 nautical mile flight, so we're going to be doing this in about half an hour, 40 minutes. In the Airbus 320 here, we have the EasyJet livery. So here we are at runway 1. We're going to hold short and request takeoff clearance. However, I didn't look at my airport information. Whatever, it's fine. We'll see it after. So we'll just request takeoff clearance. See what the Q&H is here. 1011 on the Q&H and cleared for takeoff runway 101, and we'll acknowledge that. Let's go ahead and get lined up. Cleared for takeoff. We don't need the full length of runway. We have enough of a light plane. I did forget to do one thing though, set my trim here, so we're going to set the trim. And here we are, we're going to line up on that runway. As you can see, it's not a very long runway, but this 320 is going to get off the ground nice and quick. Let's set our trim that we didn't set, so we had to set it to 1.9 up. So right now we are at 0. And I'm going to leave it at like 1.5. I feel like this one always makes it be a little bit high. Alright, so we have runway heading, which is set, I think. Selected heading, there it is. Alright, so we have heading selected. That's set. Probably going to turn on managed heading. I mean, I could already set managed heading. Looks like it's going to be, we'll have enough time to take off. Altitude set to 3,000. 215 there, heading, and auto throttle. I can turn auto throttle on. Yeah, it is. And then we'll turn the speed hold once we get taken off here. Alright, so we're looking for 78.9 on takeoff thrust. I might give it a little bit more just so we're sure that we have enough runway here. I have my foot on the brake still as we are putting the engines up. And takeoff thrust is set. Taking my feet off the brakes. Alright, here we go, guys. Looking to rotate at about 125. And we are at 120. And rotate. Positive rate, gear up. Wow, look at that. Nice trees. We got the autumn weather. Pulling the engines back just a little bit here because we're going to be going quite fast. Alright, and we'll acknowledge that. I keep my speed up and not climb too fast either. Alright. There we go, we're climbing quite fast here. Still on track. Gonna go ahead and put our flaps back up here. And I'm gonna turn autopilot on. There we go, autopilot's on. And turn selected speed on. Auto throttle. And speed is set. And we're gonna go ahead and contact Malmo Center here. Contact Malmo Center. Should be making that left turn here shortly. And oh shit, we passed 3,000 feet. What the heck? Oh, okay. I have to descend. I didn't realize that we had past 3,000 feet. That's my bad.
Expect flight level tree 20. Keep speed not above 230 knots.
Alright, we're gonna acknowledge that. I don't know how we went past 3,000. I think that's my fault. I think I passed 3,000 before I even,
Not above 230
we're gonna set selected vertical speed here, so we should be descending. Oh god, I'm at 6,000 feet. I climbed way too fast there. Alright, well, that's how to not do a takeoff. Let's get back to 3,000 feet here, and they just told me to expect radar contact descending 3,000 feet. Expect 3D. Yeah, they didn't tell me to climb, so I have to descend back to 3,000. Whoopsies. Alright, well, we're holding 215 knots here. Speed it up to 220. And we're descending right after takeoff, because, there it is. Climb and maintain 320. Alright. Told you this thing climbs so fast, I didn't even realize we were already past 3,000 feet. Alright. Let's get this thing climbing. Acknowledge that. Hopefully they won't give us a phone number to call. And be like, hey, we have a phone number for you, because you're not listening to what we said. Alright. 4,500 and climbing. Heading towards GJ 850 here. At or above 2,500 and 230 knots. We're holding at 220 knots here. Making sure we're below 230. I don't know when my QNH is flashing. I might have passed transition altitude. I know it's different in the EU. And here we are, climbing through the clouds. Always a nice part of flying. And we're getting to the fall, so the trees aren't really green. They're kind of orange and red. Pretty good takeoff, other than not respecting our altitudes. I briefed the takeoff, I said it, and I still forgot. Honestly, we climbed so fast that we were at 5,000 feet before I could even realize that we were too high. Anyway, we keep moving through 7,000 feet. There's our nice little A321. Or no, sorry, that's an A320. Out of Jönköping or something in Sweden, heading to Denmark. Again, 200 nautical mile flight, gonna be quite short. We have 320 set on the altitude, climbing. And let me go see my flight plan page. So, Devon, 250, Devney, there we go. Why does that say 3,400 nautical miles? That doesn't make sense to me. Let's zoom out here. That's enough whining you. Okay, so here we have something weird. After Devney, honestly, we should go directly to Epvin. I don't know what happened. It looks like it's sending us to a whole nother waypoint, so let's go investigate. Looks like this waypoint, LT, is the one that's wrong. So we're gonna clear it. And then clear my discontinuity. And that should have fixed it. There we go. So now we're going from Devney to Apvin, and that makes a lot more sense. And once we get past Devney, we'll be cleared to set our speed higher. Alright. Look at that. Nice smooth takeoff. I bet the passengers are wondering why they started descending right after takeoff. They don't have to know anything. We just Made a little mistake, climbed a little too fast. No biggie. Still heading towards Devney. And I'm still respecting that 230 knot clearance because they or restriction. Technically, I'm still on that SID until I reach Devney. And we're set everything on VNav now. So anyway, looks like VNav is making us go a little bit faster here as we fly towards our destination airport. So yeah, we're kind of slowing our climb as we're trying to speed up, but now that we've reached our VNav speed, which looks like it's 277, then it'll be Mach 0.73. Now we should be climbing nice and fast. Look at that, 3,500 feet per minute climb. Plane is nice and light, so it can climb really fast. And get us to flight level 320. We'll get there soon. I think this is our projected flight level here when we should be reaching our top of climb. And still climbing fast. So yeah, here we are, guys, just cruising. We can kind of already get our arrival briefed here so that we know what we want to do for arrival. So I'd like to open up my EFB here. We'll go through it again once we get a little bit closer, but yeah, see, this was the problematic waypoint here, LT, but it looks like instead of bringing us to this LT, it brought us to one that's way further south, so we're just heading direct to that next waypoint here, which was APVIN. And then from there, it looks like we're coming straight in for that ILS runway 27 approach into wherever the heck we're landing. Took off from Jönköping, and we are landing in Billund. So let's open up our ILS chart. Looks like we are past Devney now. So making that right turn to head towards Billund. Look at that. Making a nice wide right turn. In the EasyJet 320. Climbing right turn still. Wow, look at that. That crosswind we have up here. I was wondering why our nose was pointing there. We're pointing towards 250, but we're flying towards like 230 something there. That's crazy. A lot of crosswind there. You can kind of see it like that. So that's where we're heading, but our nose is pointing way off to the right here. Alright, cool. So that's our top of climb, and our top of descent isn't much further. So let's go ahead and brief that arrival here. ILS Yankee runway 27. So we took the Bevra transition just because I guess I could have taken this Odnev transition since we are coming from the northwest, but we're kind of coming from this direction, so Bevra is fine. We just didn't really want this one. Would have made sense. So looks like at Bevra we want to be at or above 3,000 feet. Same thing at Loksa, and then at or above 2,000 at Elrit, and Loksa 3,000 feet at Loksa. And then at DME 9.9 we'll be intercepting glide slope for the 3-degree glide path down for ILS runway 27. Go around procedure here. We fly heading 264, which is probably runway heading to this waypoint. Max 2000 to Gelba. Climb 3000. Alright. So we'll see that, but it looks like we want to be at or below 2,000 feet there. And then we climb 3,000 feet and head to Gelba. Oh, okay, Gelba's a little bit further up. So that's if we have to fly and go around or missed approach for some reason. And looks like a pretty simple ILS approach. We have the ILS frequency up here, 110.7. But on this plane, we don't really need to worry about ILS frequency. It does it on its own as long as you set it up in your flight plan. So let's make sure that it is set up in our flight plan. If I go to this page, all right, it's gonna go to flight plan page here. Go to the arrival page and make sure that we choose it is ILS Yankee. Yep, ILS Yankee runway 27 via Bevra and insert. So I think it was already set, but we just put it in just to be sure that it was set. So now if I look at my flight plan, it looks like we have, yeah, just like we're expecting here. Apvin, then Bevra, and then coming in for that ILS runway 27 landing. If I go to my init page, doesn't do it anywhere. Huh. Alright, but anyway guys, on this A320, you don't need to do like in the 737 where you go and put in your frequency in your ILS radio stack, whatever down here. It does it automatically, so no worries. So currently still on the way to Billund. We are just flying over, I guess that's the edge of Sweden here, as we are heading down to Denmark. And let's go see what we have to expect on our landing. Airport ground chart. See how long our runway is, first of all. So we've got 3,000, that's in meters. We got a pretty long runway here. And we are landing runway 27. So looks like we want to plan to exit at taxiway. I don't even know if they want us to go north or south apron. Terminal cargo. Alright, yeah, so they're probably going to send us up here to the terminal. So we'll plan to exit right here, taxiway Foxtrot, and if ever we can't break in time, we'll go to taxiway Delta, all the way at the other end of the runway, but I feel like we'll have enough time to break getting to Foxtrot here. So I could set my auto brake low here. That might turn off. We might have to send it back, put it back on after, but we'll leave it there for now. And there we go. That's weird. Quest vector, next waypoint. That's not what I want. Hopefully the ATC works with us here, as we did take off a waypoint, I'm afraid, but it should fly us this route. Yeah, we should be heading to Apvin. That's fine. All right. Oh, is that already? No, that must be an island there. That's not already. Island there. Huh. That might be a nice place to visit. No, nobody bothering you. Let's see. What is that island called? Right in between Norway No, Denmark and Sweden. Oh, there it is. It's called Anholt. Anholt Island. They have an airport. Sonderburg. They have some hotels. I mean, you know, when you take your, if ever you retire and you want a nice quiet place, that might be a nice little island with no one bothering you. However, there needs to be a golf course for it to be worth it. It doesn't seem like there's a golf course. Alright, Copenhagen Center, knowledge handoff. And let's tune and contact Copenhagen Center.
Copenhagen Center, Swag Lima Tango, Lima 9er, flight level tree 20. Swag Lima Tango, Lima 9er, Copenhagen Center, radar contact, continue to happen.
And cool. Alright, so they told us to continue to Apvin. Looks like our top of descent is coming up closely, so those of you who follow the channel enough know that I am quite critical of ATC when it comes to giving me my descent in time, because it always seems like they want to give it to you at the last possible second just to make you too high, you know? You're like, they get you all the way here and then they're like, okay, now you can descend, but like 20 miles away from my runway. I can't descend from 320 to 0 in 20 miles, you know. I need a little bit more time, so I'm hoping that they give us our descent clearance very soon here. We'll see. And if they don't, we'll give them a little bit of time, and if they still don't, then we'll have to do like I do half the time and just ignore the ATC. There's that little island of Anholt. I just looked it up on Google. Anholt. There's a nice lighthouse on this side of the island right there, and then their airport is somewhere around here. Nice small little airport. We've got some beaches, looks peaceful. Looks like a nice peaceful island. People must be happy to live there without anyone bothering them. And as I say that, we can see Denmark coming in to the distance, and we are right on our top of descent. So this would be the time ATC to give us a little. I don't know why this is the only option I have. Let's just do it for fun.
Swag Lima Tango, Lima 9er, requesting vector to next waypoint. Swag Lima Tango, Lima 9er, continue to Apvin following heading 230. Resume on navigation. Continue to Apvin following heading 230. Resume on navigation. Swag Lima Tango, Lima 9er.
Alright, I said resume on navigation. So I don't know if that means I can start descending, but I'm gonna start descending, even though they didn't tell me to, because I'm already getting quite close. So let's go ahead and set managed altitude. Throttle's going to idle, and we are descending, and hopefully fast enough. ATC is probably gonna tell us to stop descending, but yeah, that's our little green kind of VNAV reference. And yeah, now they're gonna tell us that we're not at our assigned altitude.
You are 1100 below your
Alright.
Maintain flight level 320.
Alright, well, I'm just gonna go ahead and not talk to Copenhagen Center anymore. Little cheat code for you guys. Honestly though, like, look how fast I have to descend for VNAV to get me to, like, that's not a normal vertical speed on descent. You should be descending way earlier. I have to contact the developers and tell them to make their ATC. Like, they should descend you 20 miles before your top of descent, just to make it safe and easy for you to get there, you know? Alright, so it looks like we're gonna be just fine here as we are descending. We are trying to maintain that 280 knot speed here as we descend, but we want to be at 3,000 feet here at Bevra. So if you're just joining us now, we are descending into Billund, and we have just made it to the Apvin waypoint and turning towards Bevra. So let's go ahead and brief that arrival one last time here. Those of you who already saw it, feel free to skip, but if you're just joining us on descent here, we are on this arrival, ILS runway 27 in Denmark, Billund Airport. We have about 9,000 foot runway. We want to be at or above 3,000 feet at Bevra, and then at Loksa we want to be right about at 3,000 feet, because right after Loksa here, 3 miles after Loksa, we're intercepting the glide slope coming down on runway 27 here in Billund. Let's go ahead and look at that airport information here, see what we can expect. This one, weather. Alright, QNH 1016, so we'll set that once we get a little bit closer. 5 mile visibility and winds 110 from 310. So runway 27 recommended, which is what we are doing. Looks like we are right close to our VNAV reference here, which is perfect, but we are still coming in a little bit fast. We're gonna have to slow the plane down quite quickly here. Runway 27, 10,000 feet there, yeah, 10,000 foot runway. And we want to exit at runway, or taxiway Foxtrot. We'll try to leave it taxiway Foxtrot, and if somehow we can stop before taxiway Foxtrot, then we'll do that too here. That's our, well, the only other taxiway before Foxtrot is right here, and I doubt we'll be able to land and stop at taxiway Hotel, so we'll aim for Foxtrot, and if ever we really float it down too far and we land somewhere here, then we'll take taxiway Delta all the way at the end here. So that's about what we're expecting here. Alright, so right on our VNAV reference, and the plane is slowing itself down 280 knots. Performance, so we are on manage speed. If I go to my flight plan here, 277. Bevra 250, flight level 034. Alright, and let's go ahead and set up our arrival here. Performance, next phase. Alright, there we go. So QNH is 1016. We have to set all that landing temperature here, so we're going to go here. Weather, 15 degrees over there. So temperature is 15 degrees. Wind is 310 at 11 knots. So 310, 11. QNH, I never know if they want you to put it in HP. I think it's in inches of mercury here. What's 1016 inches of mercury? That's that. That's HPA. God dang it. I'm just gonna test it out here. 1016. It's 29908. Okay. 1016. I'm gonna set it back to standard for now. Honestly, I don't know if they want it in. Guess I'll set 1016. Maybe they'll tell me it doesn't make sense. No, they left it. And our minimums here. So let's go ahead and look at our minimums. Because I forgot. I usually set my baro minimums. Alright, Cat 2 DME, Cat 3, no, looks like it's 94 here. Ooh, what's going on here? Whoa, what happened there? Alright, looks like the speed turned off for a second here. Manage speed. Should be 250. I might have hit a button by accident here, but looks like we are slowing down. Alright, so we are coming in quite fast now and steep, so we're going to have to set some spoilers here to help us really slow down now. And slowing down into that 250 mark here. Alright, and I'm going to set whatever 100 here on the baro minimums. There we go. Speed limit exceeded, that's fine. Alright, so landing speed 116, approach speed 121. That's understood. Oop, didn't want to do that. Alright, so we're holding 250 now. And still looking at my flight plan, so it looks like 250, 233. Yeah, so that's a big drop off right there. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to set a selected speed here. And we'll keep our plane slowing down. And yeah, we'll let that VNAV bring us in as it should. Gonna go ahead and turn on the ILS for the ILS landing. Looks like a localizer is already not captured, but felt the plane is sensing a localizer signal. So we're gonna turn localizer on, which will turn on its own as we get a little bit closer here. And trying to figure out where my flaps are. So spoilers armed. And there's our flaps, so I could set flaps 1 at 230. So I'm going to go ahead and slow down to 215 here. And I'll set my flaps to 1. Alright, setting flaps 1 now for as we are getting ready to land. Oh, first thrusting. That's weird. Alright, and we are past transition altitude, so we're going to set back to 1016. And I'm going to go ahead and set selected vertical speed here. And we'll leave it right about there at 2,000 feet. And we'll keep zooming in. So, perfect. We are under the glide slope. And that's just how we want it. So we're going to keep descending to 3,000. We can actually slow our descent down even more. I'll leave it at 1,500 here. I forgot to turn the landing lights. Oh, they're already on. Alright. No smoking. No one smokes. Seatbelt sign. On. Alright. Coming into Billund. Nice quick flight today. So keeping an eye on ILS, but both localizer and glide slope are both we're receiving the signal for both of them, and now we just have to capture it. Still flying quite quickly here. Auto throttle. See, that's what happened. The auto throttle turned off before. Auto throttle on and set selected speed. I don't know what's going on with my speed, but it looks like the speed levers aren't where they should be. Alright. Does that work now? Still not working. Alright. So I guess I have to control the speed myself for some reason. Even though I... Speed selected. Alright, anyway, localizer's captured, and now we are awaiting the glide slope. Now if I descend my speed... Alright, cool, looks like the speed is back, holding 180 knots, setting flaps 2 now. And holding at 180 here, and we are gonna slow us down a little bit more after. So we do have quite a big crosswind here, 25 knots, not full crosswind, do have some headwind. Let's go ahead and see. So it says only 11 knots. If I refresh it, maybe it got a little bit higher. Oh, looks like it's still at 11 knots here. Alright. So we are at Loxa crossing 3,000. Still nothing on the glide slope, but we are expecting to intercept that glide slope at 9.9 DME here. So we're at 11. So once this is at 9.9, there we go. Glide slope's coming down. Still no runway in sight. But remembering our landing speed, approach speed is 121, landing speed is about 116 here. Auto fright, auto throttle limited. Yeah, I think it depends where my throttle here, because now we're on auto throttle, we have climb, takeoff. Sometimes it's just at the wrong spot here. But let's get ready for landing in Billund. Let's hopefully make a nice landing. We do have that right to left crosswind, so we might have to give some left rudder right on landing. Oh shoot, I didn't turn approach hold on. Where's approach hold? Where's approach hold? There it is. Alright, and glide slope. Did we get it? Yeah, we got glide slope. Wow, just in time. Alright. Runway's in sight over there. 2,500, gear down. And yeah, still pretty big crosswinds from what I can tell here. And slowing us down. 160 knots. Setting another notch of flaps here. Pretty quick flight from Sweden to Denmark. I forgot the name of the departure airport already. Where did we fly from? It has a funny name. Jonkoping, something like that. It starts with a J. It's not letting me It's not letting me go look for you guys. Anyway, let's focus on the landing here. Runway's in sight. See if I can get a recording. Alright. 1,000 feet soon. So 2,000. 1,400 above the ground. Coming in. Runway's in sight. Alright, let's really get our plane slowing down here. Get us to that 135 speed. And setting flaps full. Alright, glide slope localizer set.
1,000.
1,000 feet. Can really see that crosswind working us here. Alright, auto throttle off. I have control of the speed. Alright, keeping an eye on my speed here, letting the glide slope and localizer take us in. And just trying to keep that speed around 140 knots here. And we're going to be pulling the speed back quite a bit as we start getting closer to that runway here. Alright. Oh, bringing the engines back a little bit. Making sure we don't stall, so we don't want to slow down too much here, but still a lot of crosswind here, so we're gonna have to give some left rudder here on landing. Alright, keeping the engines pushing. We're getting under the glide slope. Alright, auto throttle's off. I have control. Ooh, slowing down. We're speeding up a little bit.
200.
Too much. 200. Oh gosh, that's a lot of crosswind here.
100.
100 feet.
50. 40. 30. 20.
Alright, giving that left rudder
Retard.
and retarding.
Retard. Retard.
Alright, we're floating a little bit much here, but that's fine.
Retard.
Get that plane down.
Retard. Retard.
How are we still floating? We're at 100 knots.
Retard. Retard.
Are you kidding?
Retard.
Oh my god.
Retard.
Alright,
Retard.
can you just get the wheels down? Oh my gosh. Alright, there we go. Alright, reverse thrust. We're literally flying at 100 knots with an Airbus 320 and somehow we were still floating. Alright. Hitting the brakes, turning off, and here we are at taxiway Foxtrot like we planned. And turning off here at taxiway Foxtrot, putting the flaps back up. And gonna go find a gate that's free over there. Welcome to Billund, Denmark. After floating for about 2 hours on landing, our wheels finally hit the ground. That was just crazy. I wasn't flaring that much. We just kept floating and floating and floating and floating. Alright, and putting the speed brakes back down. There we go. Speed brakes are down. Let's go ahead and find a gate. We'll just take that gate that's right in front of us over there. It looks free, no one's there. However, it's the furthest gate, probably from wherever the security is. Looks like we're right at the edge of the airport. Alright. And we are cutting through. There's no taxiway. Oh yeah, look at that. We got some people waiting for us. That's where they wanted us parked. Oh. Alright, we got the guy telling us to go left a little bit. And, oh, it's a lady. Alright. Oh, got go. Alright, I'm not turning more than that. That's enough. And welcome to Denmark. Wow. Nice flight. Hectic flight. We went past our altitude on takeoff. We floated for about 5 minutes on landing, but we made it nonetheless. Alright. Shut the engines off here. Off and off. Thanks for watching, guys, and see you on the next flight.